welcome everyone. So for those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that have been here with us, we're going to do a little bit of nutrition education and a cooking demo, all in one, with Kim leading our session today. So if you did not see the recipe, it was linked on our website. If you did not see the recipe, I will put that in the chat once we get started. Feel free to follow along, or you can just watch the video and then try it again at a later time. I encourage everyone on this call to try the recipe and then send in a picture. So you can post it on the Total Body Challenge submission form with your code words. You can attach a picture that way, or you can email it to my email, which I'll also put in the chat. So we would love to see your pictures or videos of you trying the recipe. Those of you that are a part of the Total Body Challenge, I will give you all this week's nutrition and hydration code word at the end of the session. Just a few reminders throughout the session here. If you could all please just remain muted throughout, so that way we can see and hear Kim clearly. And then that is pretty much it. So I just wanted to introduce Kim. She is new. She's a new face. You might have seen her if you were on the poetry call last night. She was on with us and she shared a piece of poetry. But for those of you that have not gotten the chance to meet her, Kim is my intern. She's going to be with me for 4 weeks, but it's crazy because we're already halfway through. And she is going to be focusing on nutrition with you guys. So Kim, I'm going to start off by spotlighting your video, and then I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'll pull up, I'll screen share so that way everyone can see the PowerPoint. All right, Kim, thank you for being with us. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I got your screen, Amelia. Thank you so much for sharing it. Hi, everybody. Amelia said, I'm Kim, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys tonight. I'm with Amelia, like she said, for 4 weeks, but already 2 weeks into it, and I'm just helping out with some nutrition. So I am excited to talk to you guys about some fruits and vegetables tonight. So we're going to start out, if anyone wants to take a minute, and if you have your favorite fruit or vegetable in your house, if you want to, you can go and you can grab your favorite fruit or vegetable and you can share it with the group. Now, if you don't have something handy, that's just fine. If you want, you can tell us about what your favorite fruit or vegetable is. So I'm just going to give everybody a minute in case anybody wants to go. And I will start. I will tell you guys what my favorite fruit is. I got this here. Got raspberries. I am really enjoying this summer and all the fresh berries that we can have. Raspberries are my absolute favorite. And when I went to look for them, I was a little worried because I thought maybe my kids had eaten them all, but they left me some. So I'm excited. I'm going to enjoy those later. Now, I saw a couple people put in the chat some of what their favorite fruit and vegetables are. Jenny likes watermelon. That's one of my favorites too. I was thinking about showing a watermelon, but I didn't have any, so I went with raspberries. And Karen says fresh summer peaches. Yes, my son went peach picking with his friend and brought me back some fresh summer peaches. Brandon says apples and beets. I just got into beets, Brandon, and they are delicious. If you like roast them in the oven, I love them. And Kimmy says she loves cherries. Delicious. Delicious. Oh, I think there was one more that I just missed. All right, Robert says blueberries. Yes, I just had some blueberries this morning, Robert. Oh, and Jenny also likes corn. Yes, nice fresh corn. My kids love when I put corn on the grill. And Cassidy says strawberries. Yes, I love strawberries too. Yes, all great choices, everybody. Oh, Becky says strawberries. Yep. Bananas. Yes, always a favorite. And pears. Becky, you're ahead of the game. You'll see in just a minute what we're going to be talking about tonight. All right, great job, everybody. Those are some voices.
I like broccoli and I like grapes, red grapes.
Yes, I love red grapes too. And
I like
broccoli.
all fruits. I like all fruits.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear. I love it.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Kim.
My name's Conrad. Conrad,
Hi, Conrad.
how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Fine. I come from Special Olympic, New York.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Cassidy says oranges. Jenny likes to make banana and peanut butter smoothies. Yummy. And Robert says spinach. That's another great option. Great job, guys. So now we're gonna go on and we're gonna talk about what we're gonna do tonight. So we are going to make a dessert tonight, maple vanilla baked pears. So we're going to use pears, which are a seasonal fruit. So we did our scavenger hunt. So you can go on to the next slide, Amelia. We talked about all our favorite fruits and vegetables. So tonight we're going to be talking specifically about pears, like Becky mentioned. So if you take a look at the picture right here on your screen, you'll see that is a pear tree. You can see the pears growing on there. And if anybody's ever been apple picking, you can see that the pear tree kind of looks a lot like apple trees. They're not really tall trees. They're kind of bushy. You can see that they're kind of similar. And that makes sense because pears are actually cousins of apples. So it makes sense that their trees look the same. And also like apples, there are lots of different types of pears, which we'll talk about in a second. But before I go on to the next slide, I wanted to ask, can you raise your hand if you have tried a pear before? Just hold up your hand if you have. I have, yep, Karen has, Amelia, Michael has, yeah, Becky has, lots of people have, Jenny has, awesome. All right, you can put your hands down. I'm gonna ask one more thing. I'd like you to raise your hand if you liked the pear when you tried it. I did. Yeah, they're okay, Michael? Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe after tonight, some more of you that haven't tried them or didn't like them when you tried them, maybe you'll feel like trying them after tonight. All right, so you can go on to the next slide, Amelia, and we'll talk about the different kinds of pears. There's lots of different kinds. There we go. You can see they come in all different kinds of colors. There's green, there's red, there's kind of a yellow color, there's a brown color, and they have all sorts of cool names. There's the green Anjou pear, the red Anjou, Bartlett, red Bartlett, the Bosque, and the Camise. So those are some pretty common kinds of pears that you might find. I've seen in the grocery store, I've really seen the green Anjou and the Bartlett and the Bosque. I really find those at my grocery store. So especially the Bartlett pears are going to be in season now in August and September. So what in season means, that just means that somewhere near you, the growing conditions are right for that kind of pear. It's got the right kind of sun, the right temperature, the right amount of water for that pear to grow. And it's good to buy fruits that are in season because they're going to have the most nutrients, and even more important, they're going to have the best, freshest taste. So talking about where pears grow, let's find out, where do pears come from? So you can see we got a map right here of America. You'll see New Jersey over there on the right in pink. I circled it. That's where we are. And most pears in America are grown all the way on the other side of the country in Washington and Oregon. Those are in blue and those are circled. There are a couple of other states that grow pears. California grows pears. That's right. That's in blue right under Oregon. And New York State right next to us does grow some pears, but most of them that we get are from Washington and Oregon. So now we're going to talk about how you can get a pear at the grocery store. So it's actually pretty easy to buy pears. Most of the pears you're going to find at the store are not going to be ripe. They're not ready to eat. They're going to be green and hard. So you can just pick any pear that looks good. Where it gets tricky though is bringing it home to get it to ripen. So what you want to do when you bring your pear home is you want to put it in a bowl, just a fruit bowl on the counter, like other kinds of fruit. If you have a banana or an apple, you can put it in there and that'll help it ripen a little more quickly. And if you want it to ripen really fast, you can put it in like a brown paper lunch bag with an apple or a banana and just roll the top down, and that'll help get it ripe even faster. What you don't want to do is put an unripe pear in the fridge because it's not going to ripen and that's not going to be good. So how do you tell when your pear is ready? So if you have a Bartlett pear, and I'll show you when we're in the kitchen, they'll have like that sticker on them. When you get fruit at the grocery store, it has that sticker on it. It'll say right on there what kind of fruit it is. So if you have a Bartlett pear, those are going to change color when they get ripe. They're going to turn from green to kind of this yellow color. So you'll know that that kind is ready to eat. But if you don't have a Bartlett pear, if you have a different kind of pear, how are you going to tell? That's when you're going to check the neck. It says on the screen. So you're just going to take your thumb, and I'll show you this when we're in the kitchen. You're just going to take your thumb and you're just going to kind of press at the top of the pear. And when that's soft, you know it's ready to eat. If it's still hard, it's not ready yet. So give it a little longer. So what you can do though, once your pear is ripe, if you're not ready to eat it right that day, you can put it in the fridge then for another day or so, and then that'll keep it from getting too mushy. But once it's ripe, you want to try and eat it as soon as you can. So now we can talk about the nutrition in pears. So pears are nutrient dense. You guys heard that term before, nutrient dense? That's just a fancy way of saying that a food has a lot of nutrients in it, but it doesn't have a lot of calories. So that's really good to choose foods that are nutrient dense. So some of the good nutrients that are in pears, you've got fiber. Now, most of the fiber in pears is in the skin. So when you're eating a pear, you want to make sure to eat the skin. And the fiber is really good for keeping you full a little bit longer. So it'll fill you up and you're not going to feel like snacking again, like an hour after you eat. You're going to stay fuller longer. And fiber is also going to keep your digestive system moving and healthy. Pears have some vitamin C in them. So vitamin C helps keep your body healthy and helps your immune system, helps you fight off any colds or any other illnesses that might be going around, and helps your body heal any wounds that you might have, any cuts or scrapes, helps those heal. And pears have other antioxidants. Vitamin C is an antioxidant, but it has some other ones too that just help keep your body from getting damaged by anything. All right, so with all those good things in pears, we know it's really good to eat them. So we're just going to eat them in a little bit of a new way tonight by making a dessert with them. So we're going to talk about some ways to make our desserts a little bit healthy. And one of the best ways to have a healthier dessert is to incorporate our fruits like pears. And there are some other simple things that you can do to try and make your desserts a little bit healthier. They say you can incorporate your fruits. And we talked about this a little bit a minute ago. You can incorporate fruits that are in season. So something that's ready to be eaten right then. So you're getting a lot of the nutrients and you're getting the best taste. You can, to try and see if a fruit is in season, you can look for fruit that's grown in the US. If you can, it'll say on the sticker where your fruit was grown. Sometimes you can't find things that are grown in the US, sometimes you can, but that's one thing that you can look for to get something that's grown a little closer to home. And another way to make your dessert a little healthier is to make it yourself. You know, you're going to have desserts a little bit less often if you're going to do the work yourself of putting it together rather than eating at a restaurant or buying something that's already made, or like keeping a tub of ice cream in the freezer or a package of cookies in the pantry. You know, it's a lot harder to eat if you don't have that stuff around in your pantry. And when you make your dessert yourself, you know, you can control what you put in it. So you know exactly, you'll see the recipe on the screen in a minute, you know exactly what's going in, you know exactly how much, you can control it, you're in control. And when you're eating out at a restaurant, you might not know exactly what they're putting in there. And when you make it yourself at home, you know, you can decide how much you're gonna have. I know sometimes, you know, when I'm out, you know, getting something out, like if I get a big ice cream cone, you know, the size they have is the size they have, and I don't want to waste it. So I eat the whole thing. And, you know, it might be a little bit more than I actually wanted to have. So when you're at home, at least you can decide how much you're going to have. And if you decide, you know what, I've had enough, I'm full, you know, you can put any leftovers in the fridge or in the freezer. But that said, though, if you are going to pick something pre-made from the store or be eating out, you can look for some healthier options. Like you can look for things that are lower fat. They do make like lower fat ice creams and desserts and things like that. You can have frozen yogurt instead of ice cream. You can look for lower sugar options. And one of the best things that you can do is to just have a little bit of some of the desserts that you're going to have. Like instead of buying like the big half gallon of ice cream, you could buy like the little pint container. So that way you're going to have less. Or instead of buying a big package of cookies, you can buy like a little snack size. So you're still getting to enjoy the snacks that you like, but you're just not having quite as much. Oh, and another way to limit how much you're going to eat is to eat slowly and mindfully. You guys, I think you guys have learned a little bit about mindful eating, some of you. So you can really eat slowly and enjoy the taste and really get a lot of enjoyment out of, you know, like maybe one smaller piece of cake versus eating something bigger and then you just wolf it down quickly and you're not as satisfied. So those are some ideas that you guys can use to have some healthier dessert options. So are you guys ready to get into the kitchen and make our desserts? I am ready. I am going to move. I'm going to turn off this camera and I'm going to come back on my other camera in the kitchen. So I will see you in 1 minute. Okay, guys, can you see me and hear me now in the kitchen? Give me a thumbs up if you can see me and hear me. Awesome. All right, so here we are in the kitchen. This is my kitchen. I've got everything set up here. I'm going to lower my video in just a second so you guys can see everything that I'm doing. The first thing we want to do when we're in the kitchen, whenever we're going to cook anything, is wash our hands. So I'm going to wash my hands. My sink is right over here. I'm just going to wash my hands really quick, just so we don't get any, I do have some dirt on my hands, just so we don't get any dirt in our food, or any bacteria, or any germs. We want to have nice, clean hands when we're cooking. All right, my hands are clean. I'm going to lower my screen so you guys can see everything that I've got here. So before I get started, I want to make sure that I have everything that I need. So I've got a plate to put my pears on. I've got a knife to cut it. I've got a spoon. I've got a bowl here. We're going to be mixing some stuff. I've got some measuring cups and some of these measuring spoons. And I'm going to need something to warm up my pears because these are really good when they're nice and warm. So I've got, I don't know if you can see it since I lowered my camera, but up there is the microwave. I've got the oven, and kind of over there, I've got the toaster oven. So you can use whatever that you have in your house or whatever you want to use when you make this to warm up your pears. Tonight, just for the sake of time, I'm going to use the microwave because in 2 minutes, they'll get a little soft and nice and warm. So let me make sure I have all my ingredients. I have my star, my pear. It's the first thing we need. So this is a green Anjou pear. I know that because it's got the little sticker on here. I don't know if you can see it, but it says Anjou. And I know my pear is from Argentina. I'll have to look next time I'm at the grocery store to see if I can find any grown in Washington or Oregon. But this one's grown in Argentina. And I also have all the rest of my ingredients. I've got some cinnamon. I'm going to be sprinkling some cinnamon on my pears. Got some maple syrup, some vanilla, and then I have some low-fat Greek yogurt and some granola. So I think I have everything, so we'll get started. We're going to start with the pear. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wash the pear. So I want to take these stickers off. We don't need those, and I'll just throw those in the garbage. And I'm just going to wash my pear just over here at the sink. I'm just going to rinse it off just with some cold water. You don't need to use soap or anything. Don't want to get soap in your food. If there's any like dirt or anything, you can just brush it off with your hands under running water, or some people have like this little vegetable brush. You can just brush anything off with that. I'm going to dry my pear off. All right, and now I'm going to cut it. Cut it in half here. This is what it looks like when it's cut in half. I got a little brown spot down there. I'm going to just cut that off. And it's got, I don't know if you can see it, it's got kind of a little stem in here. That's just a little hard area. So we're going to cut that out. So depending on how soft your pear is, you can cut it out with a knife, or you might be able to use a spoon. So I'm just going to use a knife, and I'm just going to cut this out here, and I'm going to cut this brown spot off. I don't want that. I'm just going to cut that out right there. And you can see there's a couple little seeds in there. I just want to cut those out. I'm going to do the same thing with the other half. Just want to cut that brown spot off. We don't need that in there. And I'll just cut this like stem part out. All right, now this can either, all this stuff can either just go in the trash, or I have a compost bin, so I'm just going to put this in the container for my compost. All right, now if you don't have a fresh pear, like if your grocery store doesn't have any, or you want to buy ahead and you didn't buy any pears that week, you can use canned pears. I have some canned pears here. So these are pear halves, so it's just cut in half like I just did with my pears. It's cut in half for you. But what you want to look for if you're going to use canned pears is that they're in juice. You can see on there it says 100% juice. Some pears will be canned in syrup, like heavy syrup or light syrup. You don't want to buy those because that's going to have too much sugar. That's not good for you. So if you're going to use the canned pears, look for them in juice. But I do have a fresh pear, so I'm going to stick with that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle on some cinnamon. Now, I like cinnamon, but not too much. So I'm going to put just kind of a medium amount on here. That's okay. And you can put on however much you like, a little bit, a lot. If you're not sure how much you're going to want, you can put on a little bit, and then at the end when it's all done, if you take a bite and you decide, you know, I want to have some more cinnamon, you can always add more. That's just fine. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to mix up some maple syrup and vanilla. So this is my maple syrup. I like using, it's 100% maple syrup, actually from the maple tree. It's not pancake syrup that you'll see in the grocery store. If you don't have maple syrup, you can use honey. That'll work just as well. So I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. So here are my measuring spoons. The tablespoon is the big one. Open this up. Pour that in here. And then just put it in this little bowl right here. Sometimes it gets sticky, so I'll just use the spoon to scrape that out. And then I'm going to mix that with a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. So on my measuring spoons, the 1/4 teaspoon is the smallest one. Sometimes they'll have one that's a little bit smaller than that. You can see it's not very much, just a little bit here. Add the vanilla. Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to add that to my bowl. I'm finished with my measuring spoon, so I'm going to put those in the sink for later. And now I'm just going to mix up the maple syrup and vanilla, just like that. Now I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to drizzle it over my pears. Take a little spoonful and just kind of pour that right on there. And some on this one. This one. And some on that one. And now I'm ready to warm up my pears. So I'm going to lift up the screen for a minute so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them in the microwave just for 2 minutes. And that'll get them nice and warm and a little bit softer. 2 minutes. So while those are cooking, I wanted to show you guys some of these nutrition facts labels while that's cooking, so that you can find out when you're looking at something in the grocery store, what to look for making some healthier choices. So I'll show you the nutrition facts label on the Greek yogurt that we're going to be using in just a minute. So if you're looking for the nutrition facts label, you're going to find it usually on the back. Sometimes it'll be on the side of the package, but right now it's on the back. And this will give us some good information. It's going to tell us what the serving size is, so how much of this you can eat, and all these amounts of different nutrients that are in that serving size. So this serving size is 6 ounces. We're not having quite that much. We're having a little bit less. So we're going to end up having a little bit less of all these nutrients. If we were having more, then we would get a little bit more. So some things that you can look for are calories. This has 130. And you can look for fat and saturated fat. That one you want to have as low as possible. And then a new one down here that they added in, added sugar. I don't know if you can see on here. So this is plain Greek yogurt, so it doesn't have any added sugar. And you can also look down here, there's protein. It has 17 grams of protein, so a lot of protein. So when you're looking at the nutrition facts label, a good rule of thumb is when you're trying to avoid too much fat or too much sugar, it'll have a percentage on here. You can look for something that has 5% or less. It doesn't have to be exact. Like you can see on here, this has 4% of our total fat. That's good. But it has 10% of saturated fat. It has a little bit more. Awesome. I'm seeing some of you guys in the chat, you're looking at your nutrition facts labels. That's awesome. Because it's good to know. Because when you know what's in your food, then you can make the best choice that you can for you. So I heard the microwave beep. My pears are ready. careful when you take stuff out of the microwave. It can just be a little bit hot. If it's okay, but I'm holding it carefully. Put this down a little bit so you can see again. All right, so this is all, this one kind of fell apart, but this one still looks pretty good. So now we are ready to add our Greek yogurt and our granola. So we'll start with the Greek yogurt. I picked the Greek yogurt because it has a little bit more protein in it. And you can see it's low fat. So we're getting still some fat, but not as much as regular yogurt. And this is also plain. That means, like we saw, it doesn't have any added sugar in it. With this dessert, you really don't need it because the pears are really sweet and we added the maple syrup and that's pretty sweet. So you really don't need the additional sugar from the Greek yogurt. So I'm going to add half a cup. There's my half cup. Like I said, the Greek yogurt is going to give you some extra protein, but not a lot of added fat and no added sugar to our dessert. I'm going to put a little bit on this one. And I'm going to put some on this one. On that one. Okay. Now I'm going to rinse this off because I'm going to use it again for the granola. So I chose this granola just because when I saw it in the store, I saw it said less sugar on it. So I'm like, okay, this might be a good option because sometimes granola can have a lot of sugar in it. And then I double checked back on my nutrition facts label to see how much. And this label, I don't know if you can see it. It's a little confusing because it has two. It has how much for half a cup, that's what we're using, and how much for a quarter cup if you were going to have a little bit less. So I looked on here and I see it has 6 grams of added sugar, which is okay. This is a dessert. That's just fine. But if I was in the grocery store and I saw another bag of granola that I might get, I could compare the nutrition facts labels on this one and on another one, and then I could decide which one was the better option for me to get. So I got this one. We're going to add again about half a cup. I'm just going to sprinkle some on here. And I'm going to sprinkle some on here. You know, I have a little bit extra, but you know what? I think that's good. And now it is ready to eat. So what do you guys think? Should I take a bite? I forgot to get a fork. I should get a fork and take a bite. Yeah, I wish we were. Okay, I will, Brandon. I see you.
I'm sorry, I had to leave the meeting early because I'm having a problem with my dad. So
That's okay. Thanks for coming.
All right.
Bye.
What is today's code word?
Right.
Mark, I'll post the video will be posted tomorrow, so you can get the code word tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Good night.
All right. Good night.
All right, let me try a bite. I wish we were all together in person so we could enjoy our yummy dessert together. That's really good.
That looks really good.
Thank you, Kim. That was great.
Thanks, guys, for watching and following along. I hope some of you will be able to try it. And if you do try it, definitely send in your pictures or your videos to Amelia. We would love to see it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Kim, for walking us through that demonstration. So at this point, I will just open it up for anyone that has any questions for Kim. And then we also have Karen on the call as well, if anyone has questions about the recipe or just nutrition questions in general. You can feel free to unmute yourselves. How many of you are going to try this recipe? Can you give me a thumbs up?
Oh, yeah. Maybe someday I might get some pears.
Awesome. So I see Conrad typed in the chat, what is your favorite food? So Kim, what's your
Wow.
favorite food?
My favorite is
That's a tough one. My favorite food, I really like smoothies and all different kinds of smoothies. I like chocolate smoothies. I like berry smoothies. I just made one the other day with acai in it for the first time. So that was a lot of fun. So I like smoothies.
That's a good one. And Andrew said yogurt, and that's actually one of my favorite foods is yogurt. I like to top it with and granola. So we're going to stick to the nutrition questions. Does anyone have any questions specific to the recipe or just any nutrition questions? Oh, is Becky showing us her pear?
This is the pear from my sister's pear tree.
Wow, she's so lucky that she has a pear tree.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I helped pick them.
That's awesome, Becky.
Oh, that's awesome.
Are you
I love
going to
it.
try the recipe with your sister?
I'm going to show my sister the recipe and then maybe she can try it too.
Maybe you guys can try it together.
Maybe tonight.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be great. I'd love to see that. If you take a picture.
Yup.
Let's see. Jenny says that she loves homemade hummus. Yummy, yes. And Jenny asked, is homemade vanilla better than the extract? I don't know if I would say it's better or worse. It might taste better. It might have a stronger flavor because then since you're making it yourself, you can control how much is in it, how much of the beans you have in it. So yeah, if you want to make it yourself, that sounds like a really yummy option.
Awesome. And Karen, I see you unmuted yourself. Did you want to chime in here?
No, I was just going to ask Jenny if that was the chocolate hummus we made that she was referring to.
And Jenny, you made the sweet potato hummus too, right? You tried both of them. And I know Kimmy tried the hummus as well. Hummus was pretty popular with this group. All right. Does anyone else have any questions for Kim before I give you all the code word? You need more recipes? Yeah, we can totally work on that. All right.
What's your name, guys?
What was that, Conrad?
What's your name?
My name's Amelia.
Amelia. My name's Conrad.
Thank you for joining us, Conrad. Nice to see you again.
Amelia, how are you doing today?
Good. Thank you so much for asking.
Yeah.
So for those of you that are participating in the Total Body Challenge, I'm going to give you all tonight's code word, which is we're sticking with the theme, and it is pear. P-A-R, pear. And I typed that in the chat for those of you that need that. Please, if you are going to try the recipe, make sure that you submit it with your code words, or you can submit it to my email, which I'm also typing in the chat. Kim, I wanted to say thank you so much for being with us tonight. That was awesome. I loved the nutrition education as well as the cooking demo. You did a wonderful job. And I hope that everyone on this call is able to try the recipe.
I hope so. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Karen, for being on the call as well. I hope you all have a great night.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.